So I finished the final episode of The Bear of the latest season, and I went back and watched the first season because I had to go back and see the growth of these characters again because it's been so long since I watched it. And after watching the first season, I was so shocked at the characters, and I actually took notes, and I'm going to be sharing some of those notes with you all. Number one, so Cousin Richie, season one. Oh my gosh, he was unbearable. He's insecure, he's jealous, his self esteem is lower than the floor. That scene with the sleeping pills and the kids and the party, and I was really shocked. I was like, this is not the Cousin Richie that I, have grown to, love and root for. This is someone else. So that was my first impression of Cousin Richie in the first few episodes, of course. Then we have Sid. And honestly, after watching the last episode of the latest season, I didn't realize how soon Sid locked in. She was doing stuff. She was thinking big. By episode 3, not only was she already making graphs, making restaurant plans, talking about takeout, managing wages, like looking at these wages. And I was so upset because Carmi was like, yeah, like I'll look into it. But he doesn't acknowledge the genius that is in front of him. And he can admit that she is doing really great. And he has no capacity to admire the genius that he bumped into while, Sydney was staging at the restaurant. Another person that shocked me was Tina. Tina is really mean and is actually really messed up to Sydney. When she was like messing with her stock and not being a team player, giving everyone a hard time except for Cousin. I was like, Tina, this is not this is not the best version of you. Another first impression was Marcus. So when I first watched season 1, I think most of my attention was on Carmi, on Richie, and under the radar flew Marcus. And I knew he was a sweetie, but after watching all of the seasons available and then going back and rewatching the seasons, I feel so bad because he really is such a sweet character. After literally one compliment, one whisper of inspiration from Carmi, he took it and ran. He said, I'm going to be, the best pastry guy there is. The hard work with him and the classic donut for the beef. And then just the story that Carmi tells him about the plum. I think that there is levels of I'm sure if there was a literature class, like there would be definitely talk about the plums and it relating to Marcus. His dedication to the fact that he was sleeping at the restaurant so that then he can become the best at doing these things. Yeah, I was really inspired to see his growth. And then also another thing that I put on here was that his inspiration has no limits, because then unfortunately inspiration can be a double-edged sword. And I think he demonstrates that because he is prioritizing his donut making and his mission to make the perfect donut, that he starts neglecting the restaurant, which, I mean, we're all rooting for him, but it's like, bro, come on, like, do the work. And yeah. Uncle, yeah, I didn't know that he wasn't really their uncle. I forgot that fact, but he's not really their uncle. But he's actually really cool. And there was something that I saw that I was like, there was a parallel, because Uncle is talking to Carmi about how his dad actually got the mom stuck in that restaurant because it was just in his whim to do so. Like he wanted to become a restaurateur. And then he says, he really stuck that to your mom. He really stuck your mom with that place. And then he asked Carmi, like, isn't it exhausting being there day in, day out? And It reminded me of the latest season because we saw other people talking about how Sydney was baby trapped with this restaurant. And it's different from the mom because the mom, I don't think that's something that she wanted. We don't know a lot in that sense. I don't know if she wanted the restaurant or not. But it's different because Sydney wants that restaurant from, I'm telling you, from like episode 3. She was like, yes, let's make this restaurant the restaurant. So I know there's like a little difference there. Sydney, you know, she is like the beacon of hope. She's propelling the business forward. She's a freaking boss. She gets that review from Ribbon and Brie. The ribs and risotto. She is a little pushy though, but I think that's just part of her genius, part of her greatness. The fact that like she's not gonna settle, and I admire. I think the first round too, I didn't notice how much of a bad, you know, she's a bad cook. Like not a bad cook, she's a bad bitch. No, I think from the first time that I watched it, I didn't acknowledge how much of an amazing cook she is, or an amazing chef she is, and her willingness to try new things and just be there for the restaurant. It's so good to see because we know where she's gonna end up. So going back and see it, it was just like, it's like little do you know that you're gonna go so far. And I don't know, I was just really proud of her. Again, going back to the season that ended and then watching season 1, just the tension between Cousin and Sid and Carmy really takes over everything that's happened, or everything that's happening, but there's so many pieces underneath it. I'm so happy I went back and rewatched, because it's beautiful to see the growth of all the characters. One of the things that really stuck out to me was Carmy's cook show Nightmare, and then also his visit to the families meetings of the Alcohol Anonymous, just because it's the first time that you see him open up throughout the show. Like the whole time he is worried about the restaurant, and then he doesn't open up at all, and then we see him speak at the family meeting for alcohol, like family members who are alcoholics. And I don't know, it's really, really beautiful. And we continue to see his growth. But one thing that I want to finish this video before the 10 minutes run out is that it's crazy, beyond crazy, that there's people saying like, oh, Carmy and Claire, you know, like shipping them as a romantic couple, which is fine, whatever. I don't ship them as a couple. I don't think Claire deserves this version of Carmy. I think Carmy is working to be a better person, but he's not fully there yet because Claire seems to be this very like centered person. I also don't ship Sydney and Carmy. I think Sydney admires him a lot, to the point where maybe there maybe some developing feelings, and there's definitely parts in the season when you're like, no, Sydney loves this guy. But I don't know, I think the show is demonstrating that you can find growth through those around you, and it doesn't necessarily have to be like emotional, like a relationship that's based on a romantic relationship, if that makes any sense. I think I said too much, but yeah, before the time runs out, basically what I wanted to say was that I like Carmy's and Sydney's relationship, and through their relationship, Carmy is growing so much. And the only reason why there's speculation of him, you know, like growing and changing, and you see it based on his actions with Claire, those actions only happen because Sydney is such a badass. Like, she is amazing, and she has a gift of communication that Carmy is benefiting from. And yeah, I really like this show. I'm gonna make more videos. Okay, bye.